a podcast where you don't need an invite to join the conversation. Welcome to Add Me to the Group Chat. Hi, you guys. Welcome to the group chat. This is another solo episode. This is actually going to be my third solo episode, which feels really crazy. I thought that maybe I wouldn't have done as many, but let's be honest, Alan's very busy, and so is everybody else. And so I am like, you know what? I'm just going to have to do a couple solo, and I hope that y'all enjoy it. Let me know honestly how y'all feel about it, because this conversation is going to be about my 30s. And if you're in your 30s, so many of you guys that tune in to the podcast or just my content in general are around my age. And so even checking out like my analytics and seeing everybody, I can tell what age bracket everybody's in, because it kind of tells me, you know how the internet tells you like almost everything? Well, I can see that in my analytics. I can't really see who you are, but I can see like, this is the age, this is the gender, this is when your content is most viewed, so on and so forth. So if you are any type of creator online, just know that you can see not content, but analytic things like that. So I know that you guys are around my age. So I am 39, and I'm like, how am I 39? And it was funny last night. I was saying something in the kitchen, and Maddox was like, no, Mom, you are. And he was like saying like all these 20 ages. He's like, you're like 20, you're like 25, you're like only 29. Like he was just saying ages in your 20s. And I was like, you know what? I am. And just goofing off with him. But I honestly, mentally, I feel that age. Like to say 39 doesn't bother me at all. I mentally feel like I'm not. I'm like, I don't know how I've actually been along that. Can I get the sentence out? I don't know how I've been alive that long. Yes, that's what I was trying to say. That kind of seems surreal to me, because when I think of 39, I think of, oh, that's how old my mom was when I was younger. I remember her being that age. So it kind of just feels really weird that I get to say that. But I also know saying 39 is a privilege, because so many lives have, not made it that long, that God's called them home. And I'm just like, wow, to even still be here is awesome. To be able to be here and be a parent and be present and be a wife and be a sister and a daughter and, all the titles that we all hold, right? An auntie and all the stuff. So, and a godmom, I love being a godmother as well. Like just having these titles is really cool. So, and a friend, but going through my 30s, the beginning of last year when I turned 39, Olivia and I were chatting, and she was like, you need to do a series on like your last year and your 39 on your YouTube channel. And I had all of this content planned. I had all these ideas planned, but something just didn't feel right to me about like I just never started it. I think I did some things that were like, I'm 39 or 39 plus to do whatever with like beauty and stuff. Because if you are really new here and you don't know who I am, maybe I should do an introduction for myself. But I've been doing content since 2017 online when live content became a thing. And I think maybe you could go live before that. I don't know. But in 2017 is when it got in my face, like you should do content online. So I've been like creating content actively for that long, but to be consistent online really was like 2022, because I would show up doing a lot of different content, but to be like, hey, every week I'm going to have some type of content out here. When I'm speaking of this, I mean like on my YouTube channel, and then my content evolved on that. So I say all this because I really was going to start doing like my last year in my 30s and have this whole like fun series about it. And I just never really did it like that, because my audience on my channels, they wanted to see makeup. They just wanted makeup, and more makeup. And that's really what was popping off. And then my personal YouTube channel just evolved into different things. And now I'm just like getting the grasp on what people really want again. And so I'm just letting my channel rebuild. I'm in a rebuild phase. So anyways, you can search my name, Amber Likens, across the board if you want to check out my personal content, but you're here for a podcast. So let's get to it. And this is a group chat. So I do say like add me to the group chat. That is what it is. And it's because a group chat is so much fun. Even though some people hate a group chat, aka my husband, he hates a group chat because he's like, if I get one more notification that I could care less about, I'm going to lose my mind. You know, he just wants like, I want a one-on-one conversation in a chat. That's all. I don't have time for all these like messages back and forth, because by the time he checks it, it's like he's got 30 messages to read. He's not going to do it. And I don't know if you know this, but there was an app, and it was like, I think it was called Voxer, Voxer, and it was maybe like an orange icon. It was so obnoxious. That was also kind of popular and new and fun. And I would get added to all these conversations for like work stuff. And I would be like, I'm not listening to 50 messages. I'm going to start here. You know, so I don't know what y'all said because I'm not catching up on it. I don't want to, you know, it was that type of thing. I was just like, I don't have the mental capacity to catch up on it. So I understand, but having this podcast hold that title, it's like an eavesdropping conversation. So, you know, we're just here girly to girly and having fun. I think some guys may listen to the pod. I have no idea, but I think it's just women. Maybe my analytics will tell me sooner or later if men tune in. But let's talk about soft life era in my 30s. And my cat Trooper just is sniffing the camera. I don't know what, come here Trooper. I don't know what his obsession is about. When I record, he wants to get on the table and he wants to touch the camera. It makes me really nervous until he jumps off, and then I feel like I can breathe again. So he's just like hanging out. I just imagine he bumps my camera, bumps my ring light, everything goes everywhere. So let's talk about it. I remember turning 30. That was really fun. I don't really remember what we did to celebrate, because every year we actually do celebrate. Trooper, baby, you cannot. Come here, buddy. You. He's obsessed. Get down. There he goes. Every year there's something that goes on, and it's normally a birthday dinner. And I think on my 30th, I had recently just had cruise, and I believe that we went to a restaurant in Mooresville, maybe. I think it was Mooresville, and it's called, oh gosh, I can't even think of the name of it. Regardless of the name of it, doesn't honestly matter, but it's a great little restaurant. It's kind of like everything's fresh. You know what I mean? Like whatever is in season is what they make, and the menu changes all the time. And they have a chef's table downstairs that they can host and have like maybe 12 or 15 people at the table. I'm not really sure, but they can have a good amount of people, maybe less than that, maybe 10. And you can pay to have a dinner down there in the kitchen. It is the most epic thing ever. I love to see like the process of the food being made. Like I think that's really amazing. And then I'm being served. I'm like, that's even an extra plus. So we did that for my 30th. So going into my 30th, Alan's always made it very special. Like, let's have a party, like our dinner type thing with your friends. I've always just done like my closest friends. That's it. You know, that's really all that comes. And then we always have like a birthday lunch and all that stuff for me, and everybody in my family. So I say all that because every year is a big deal. Birthdays to me are a very big deal. I'm like, I was born X amount of years ago, and we're going to celebrate as if I just entered this world as an infant child. So wrap me up. No, I'm just kidding. But we're going to have a dinner. We're going to make it a big deal. It is my birthday month. What are we doing? Where are we going? Like all this stuff. So every single year, it's not like I wait like every 5 years or every like decade to like celebrate. I think you should be celebrating yourself daily. I think you should be celebrating yourself consistently, like not just because it's a special occasion, but then when it is a special occasion, like it should be a bigger deal. And I don't mean that it has to be this extravagant, I'm going to spend a lot of money and we have to do things. No, it is just the simplest things, you guys. It's the self-care that you give yourself during that time. It's the mental space that you need at that time. It's the enjoyment of life. Like, do you want to go, like, enjoy something in your city? Do something you don't normally do. Like, just take it in, and whatever the heck you want to do, go do that. Go do it, you know? And so every year is like that for me. And I feel like for my 30s, we're very, very busy for the first 5 years. Like, when I mean busy, I mean like it was the hustle. I have been an entrepreneur since the age of 19. So I have been self-employed. What I make is because I did the work to get myself there. It wasn't handed to me or anything. So the success that I've had or the success that I'm having is because I've worked for it. No one just said, here you go, do your thing. Like, that's it. No, I don't have that, you know? And so I take every little thing that I do, like, I just don't take it for granted either, because I know it can be gone in a minute. And so I just enjoy the grind, the hustle, the accomplishment. And so I just never really slowed down. And then I became a parent in my later 20s. And so in my 30s, of course, I was still in the grind phase of working, but I also had young children. And while they're young, it's kind of, you know what, I will say this, because I don't want to say things that I'm like, that's actually not how I feel, but I'm going to say it this way. It's a little bit different to work when they're little versus when they're older, speaking of your children, because when they're younger, they are consistently taking a nap, or they are hanging out playing with blocks. They're doing something for 30 minutes to occupy themselves. They took an hour nap. They took a 2-hour nap, like something like that. They went to bed at 6 and they'll sleep till 1 and then wake up to, you know, nurse or eat or whatever, and then they go back to bed. Like, whatever that schedule is, you kind of have your blocks. And so while my kids were young, that's how I worked. And then when they got older, I needed to be more present, more, you know, and still more. And so when I became 35, so those first several years of my 30s, yeah, I was hustling, I was working. I'm a retired makeup artist, and I've always worked in the beauty industry, and I got very, very creative with that. And then I started a company also with my best friend Olivia, and we established this like content creator thing online, and it was really successful and awesome. So I've just done a lot of things that we've built from the ground up. But when I turned 35, something kind of came over me, and I was like, I'm done working for other people. And, you know, I'll say this, I've never worked for anybody, but I've been attached to other companies where they kind of set the presence and the rules, and they have the product and things like that. And I just kind of like worked off of that. So, MLM, if you've kind of heard of that. So I kind of did that. But then I was like, I started having, obviously I was an entrepreneur because I was doing things on my own, but it was still very controlled to a sense. And so I would kind of do things outside the box that was frowned upon. But to me, I was like, this is awesome. You know, I want to do something different for myself. And so I was really kind of like teetering with that those first couple years of like 33, 34, 35, like right in there. And when I say that, I was just doing really cool stuff, like trying to, build my own personal brand. So at 35, I decided I'm done like being controlled by what other people's ideas are for how I can be successful. I want to do it on my own. So I kind of stepped away from being attached to any company or anything at all when it came to the beauty industry and selling a product. I sold a product, and I also sold a service, which was me being a makeup artist, but I chose a product brand that I wanted to represent. Okay, let's talk about our sponsor today. Of course, it's my brand, and I cannot wait to have other sponsors on the podcast soon, but you guys, I have to honestly talk about the products that I create and curate for you guys. Our customers are going crazy. The text messages and the DMs and even the comments on social, even though we're not like popping off super huge, we are starting something crazy, and everybody is so addicted to the products. We just have some most recent reviews on the website. You have to go check those out. But we just came out with our Skin and Space product, and it is magical. You can use it on your linens, your clothing, around your home. We have 2 scents, and honestly, the reason why we have 2 is because everyone's obsessed with cashmere, and they would be angry if we did not have cashmere in a scent. And then we have our other fragrance that's literally my favorite for the home. So go check those out, you guys. But someone had just said, and I met her out when we were in Maui, we went on a Hawaii vacation, and her name is Nikki. She's so amazing, and they're in California, but I can't wait to even travel out there with the family. Like, I'm so excited about that. But she was saying how she was like, this is going to replace my Way spray. And I'm like, what? Because I also use that brand. And I'm like, that is like really saying something. And another girlfriend of mine, she was like, I literally forgot I had the scrub. And I went inside my home or whatever to just give my hands like a good exfoliation because they were just so beat up from working outside and doing things. She was like, what in the holy magic is in this product? Like, anyways, just the DMs and the comments and the texts that I get, and when I see you guys out in like the wild, I love to say that because it's like out in like the world. Y'all are so kind. If you have not tried our products, please go to lykbuttah, that's likebutta.com. Get all 4 products. Get the body butter, the scrub, the spray, and the soap. Literally, you will thank me. Okay, just try it. It speaks for itself. You're the best. Let's get back to today's interview. Oh my gosh, and use Amber as a code. So when you check out on my website, just put Amber in the promo code and you can save 20%. Like, literally the best. Okay, let's get back to it. So I stepped away from that at 35, and I say all that because I want to talk about the soft life and what a soft life means. But my soft life era did not begin until I was later 30s. And the soft life means that you're treated well, that you're not struggling, in a sense of like, how am I going to pay my bills this week? You know what I mean? Like, you're set up in a way where you're supported by a spouse as well. And you just don't have to really like have this, like, if I don't work today, what are we going to do? Now, I will say, granted, Alan and I have both come from building everything from the ground up, and I'm very proud of what he's done with his company. And, but he'll tell you all the time, if I didn't do what I did, he couldn't have done what he does. So it's definitely him and I both play a big part in the success that we've had, as a married couple. But living a life in my 30s where I could decide to step away from what I was doing at the age of 35 to going like, I just want to be solo, like solo, like for real. And I want to be able to do and make the money how I want to make it. And I don't want to have to depend on another company having the rules for me, was really awesome. So in my beginning 30s, having small babies and transitioning into, I felt like I knew myself better. I knew what I was capable of. I knew what my boundaries were. Like, I was starting to create boundaries of things I wouldn't do and would do. That was really interesting. And so at 35, I was like, oh, I know what I'm going to do and I know what I'm not going to do. And I was more firm in that. And so between 35 now and 39, I have had so much fun being able to say yes to things that I actually want to do and saying no to things and being confident in that no. And that's a really, really great feeling. And I love that so much. So I say that because I really want you to be able to also have that same type of confidence in what you're doing. Life is not going to be easy. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be hardship. Money comes and goes. Especially, let me tell you this, it is feast or famine when you are an entrepreneur. And that is honestly the truth. And there are times where it is awesome and it is going great. And there are times where you're like, what are we going to do next? So being super creative when it comes to your businesses and investments and things like that. You just really have to think ahead and be ahead. And that's what we've done the last several years. And it just feels really good. So Alan and I made the decision for me that, okay, I can step away from what I'm doing and then I can really pursue what I want to do full time. And that was creating my own brand. And I'm still in the beginning stages of like, my audience is what it is online. It's a very small audience, like over all of my social media platforms. 30,000. It's not a lot, you guys, when it comes to big voices and big spaces online as entrepreneurs and influencers. But every single person counts. Every single person matters. Every single voice means something to me. So I don't care, honestly, if the views are low or if the views are high. You guys matter to me because you keep me going. I show up all the time in my content and my business and my entrepreneurship and my dreams because you guys give me the best hugs and feedback and love online. It comes through text messages, it comes through the DMs, it comes through emails, and it means a lot to me. And it actually comes from my community, like in person. I see people and they will say positive things to me. And I do get a lot of backlash though. I do get some negativity and I do get confusion and things like that too. And that's okay. And it comes with the territories and I'm all right with that. And I do have tough skin for that. And I just kind of let it go. But now that we are a few minutes in, kind of giving you a catch up on my 30s. I'm going to talk about things that I've done in my 30s and what I'm looking forward to from my 30s taken into my 40s. And I'm actually not intimidated by going into my 40s. I'm really excited about it. So if you're already in your 40s and you have any advice, bring it on. So being 39, I will have to say this year has been really interesting for me because I've expanded my personal brand. I create a product and develop a product, but I really got clear and got more clarity on my product brand and what I wanted for that for the future and more serious about how we want to move forward and take it places. So that has been really cool for me. So I'm looking forward to expanding that in a way of having more growth within that and really it's about the lifestyle that the product brings, which makes me excited. So if you don't know anything about my personal brand, you have to check that out. I have everything in the show notes and in the descriptions and my website. So, but just really being confident and I'm excited what the future holds for what I am building. And I am so happy that I have been showing up so consistently online. And not even just through video content for you guys, but I show up consistently for myself. I have found out about myself, and if you have not done any self-reflection, I probably do need to do more for myself, but I reflect quite a bit on me as a person, how I show up. And I also dissect myself a lot on like things I don't like about me. And I'm very honest about that when it comes to my husband and my children. Like us four, we are the core. And I'm very honest about things that I'm not proud of or things that I've done or things that I'm doing and things that I just want to, you don't know. Every day's a new day for every single one of us. Like yesterday, I didn't know what I knew yesterday. Like I went into yesterday not knowing it's a new day. It's a new everything for all of us. And so, I'm aware of the reflection and I'm okay with, being okay with who I am, but I also want to grow from experiences. And that makes me excited that I've kind of learned that being 39 this year has kind of hit me. Also, this year has taught me how I want to pour into friendships. I am more aware of checking in on my friends. So I am very quick to ask questions about my friends. Like, how are you? What did you do today? What are your plans this weekend? Oh, and then when we talk about things, like, I'm like, well, how did that make you feel? Well, how are you going to handle that? Like, I'm very inquisitive. Like, I want to know because I am super nosy and inquisitive when it comes to that. But I think that's a good thing to an extent, especially when it comes to my friends. I'm like, girl, you better tell me everything. Now, what happened? So I'm very much like, I need to check in. And I think this year has really taught me that friendships are so, so important. and include your friends, talk to your friends, and communicate. And it doesn't mean you have to talk to them for an hour a day on FaceTime or a phone call, but sometimes that does happen. Courage is one of my best friends as well, and Olivia, and we talk all the time on the phone. And then I have a lot of other best friends. So like Jordan, Haley, and Morgan, like literally grew up with them. Like those are my core people when it comes to like girlfriends growing up with. And so I just want to constantly check in on them. And then I have friends outside of like, these are people I've grown up with and I've continued to do life with and like walked with physically. And you know who you are, and I adore y'all. Like, it is just special to me. And then I have friends that live in other states that don't even live here. And I'm like, I want to meet you. Like Carissa, if you're listening right now, like I cannot wait to meet you in real life, but I feel like we're like sisters but we just don't live in the same state. Like, it's wild how many things we have in common. And I'm like, I am an adult, y'all. I'm so grown. I have zero tolerance for BS, but I also have zero tolerance for gatekeeping and not telling me things, or like, I'm like, just be honest. Like, we're too grown to be playing child's play, you know? So I think that's what 39 has taught me as well. And I say all that because I'm even talking about like when it comes to my children and at their school, if I have an issue, I'm going to show up. I'm going to stay in the lobby until a meeting is had. Like, I'm not playing with y'all. You know what I mean? If there's an issue in the family, I'm going to bring it up. And I'm going to say it to your face. Not because I want to be mean or I want to ruffle feathers. I'm just like, I don't have time for this, like, he said, she said, you're trying to paint your own narrative. Like, no, we don't have time for that. So I think that's also what 39 taught me, is just being so self-aware of how I react. And I know it's not always positive. I am very sassy and I'm always quick and I am very mouthy. But I'm also very soft and I'm very gentle and I'm very loving, like all these things about myself. But I'm like, I love the person that I am. I don't mean that in a very like cocky way, but you have to love yourself. You spend every day with yourself. If you don't love yourself, we got problems. Okay. Learn to love yourself. Another thing at 39 that I have learned about myself is that I need to start therapy again. I really do. And if you have not done therapy before, I recommend doing it. It was one of the hardest things that I've ever done, but also one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done. But I did pause it. I don't even know when I paused it, you guys. It's probably been a couple years now. But if I could text her right now and she'd be like, all right, here's my link, get back on my schedule and let's go. I was going through so much personal trauma and things that I had just really buried deep, you know, and they didn't come out until I was a parent. And being a mom really starts to rile up your emotions and your hormones. And let me tell you something, the age of 12 or younger, girls, we're starting our period. That is when the hormones are wild. And then you have children. Now your hormones are times 10. Then you go into just raising children. Every year is a new level of crazy. Do you know what I mean? To like, you know, it's wild. And then you hit perimenopause. And then I don't even know what actual menopause is because I'm in the peri stage. Like it's just a constant. And I'm like, you know what? I think that I need therapy again. So I'm just going through stuff that I'm not ashamed to say I need help ever at this age. I'm like, I can't do it all. I don't want to be the hero in all scenarios. I can't do it. It's a lot. You know, I know that I'm great at a lot of things and that's what I'm great at. And there are going to be things I'm not great at. So I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with not being okay at things as well. And I'm okay with not being okay of like life stuff too and emotions. And it is what it is. So, okay, some other things. Let's talk about, I have a list here of things I really want to dive into. And I want to talk about routines because the older I'm getting, I understand how valuable my routine is. And I am a creature of habit. I can do the same motion every day and be okay with that. That might be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. But we can talk about that in therapy. But I am a creature of habit. My nose literally is like running. And I feel like if you're watching the video, you're probably like, you're disgusting. And I have a heating pad in my lap. And I keep wiping it on my heating pad. Anyways, TMI, it's my heating pad. Mind your business. A routine. We have the same routine every day, and every day varies because we have sports and we have, priorities when it comes to work and life and things that have to get done. But the same day is practically the same consistent routine. And I love that. Absolutely love that. It's my safe space. My home is like sacred to us. And I pray over our home and our vehicles. Like we are a family that the power of prayer is everything. And so I just want y'all to be aware. Okay. Our house is prayed over and our bodies and our cars and all this. And I just want to like protect everything. But this is a part of my routine every day that I will not veer from. And I'm going to tell y'all how extreme I am with this because it's very serious. To me, it's serious. To you, you're going to be like, girl, you are funny. Okay, so every day when I get up, this is the routine I'm going to tell y'all. It's my get up routine because how I start my day, it really affects the rest of my day, okay? So I get up and I do not turn on lights. I don't want to see a bright light in my face when I've been sleeping for 8 to 9 hours, resting my eyeballs, and then I have a bright light in my face. Absolutely not. I'm not doing that. Not unless I have to and we're trying to pack our bags and get on an airplane. Okay, then I can be like, let's go. Lights on. We got to see what we got to see. No, I get up. And I don't even scroll or do anything on my phone. I get up and I check my blood sugar. I see what my reading is. I check my email if it's a school day. Like I open the top emails. Did something come through from the school? Like just to know, is there something I need to know about that maybe came through since we went to bed to waking up this morning that we need to be on, check the list, right? Nothing came through. Okay, great. I turn my light on my phone. I don't we have pink lights in our room. I love pink. But it gives us this ambiance that I'm obsessed with. But I turn my light on my phone and that goes face down. And so the light's kind of shining up and I put that in the bathroom. And so that light lights up one part of my bedroom to my bathroom to one part of my beauty room. And I turn on the lamp in my beauty room, which is a pink light. I don't do it in my bedroom, but I do it in that room. And then my light kind of follows me. So I brush my teeth. I wash my face. I go pee probably first. I do that. Timber is at my ankles. He is ready to eat and go to the bathroom. He just wants to eat right away. As soon as my feet hit the ground, he's ready. So he just follows me around. So I get that done. I feel like when I wake up, especially a day that we have to be out of the house for school or we have to be like in an hour, we have to leave. This is like a typical school day. I do that. And then I go room to room. That is how my body, I have to function that way. So then I go to my vanity and I sit down and I do my skincare regimen. And I'm not doing makeup and no light is on. I don't need to see my face. I know what my face looks like. Okay. And I just need to do my skincare right now. I've already washed my face, brushed my teeth, and I've peed. So I do my skincare. I pull my hair back because I typically just sleep with my hair down at night. And then I get dressed. And I don't need to see myself getting dressed. I know what I look like. I am not worried. I'm not going to a fashion show. I'm not seeing anybody except my family. If I have to walk into the school, they're going to get me how they get me. So I typically just put on like something super cozy. Cozy socks, cozy pants, cozy top. Typically a sports bra, not an actual bra. Like I'm not wearing that every day. And then I clean my ears. I do Q-tips. Ooh, that is game changer. That makes me feel so clean and clear. Then I spray myself with my fragrance mist. My brand has that too. I love it. And then I layer with a perfume. And then I feel good. I am clean because I had an everything shower the night before. I smell good. I'm together. I'm cozy. Check, 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 check. Then what do? I come into the kitchen and I take care of the dog And then, so Timber gets what he needs. He goes outside. I take care if the cats need something. I'm just, I'm scanning the home. And then I'm thinking, okay, the kids need to get up. It's 6:00 now. Typically, it might be like 6:07 because between all of that, I've already turned on. Now we have a lamp in the hallway, which I love so much because I used to turn on the hallway light, which is so obnoxious, but we need a light. Otherwise, my phone can't follow me everywhere, like in the kids and everything. But I was like, we're putting a lamp in the hallway. So we did. And so I am like, I love the ambiance of a lamp and warmth. Like it makes me so happy. And I tell the kids, and I'm like, good morning, boys. Like it normally sounds like, morning, boys. Let's go. Like that's how it sounds. My voice is more of like a deeper voice, when I'm especially trying to get the kids' attention. And so, but I'm like, morning, boys. That's my statement. And then I let that ride. I turn on the lamp. And then when it's really cold, Cruz has a heater in his bathroom. He loves to sit by the heater. And so I'll turn that on for him. And sometimes I'll even put a washcloth by their sink. I'll go to both of their bathrooms. I'll put a washcloth by their sink. I'll walk in their rooms and I'm like, hey, buddy, did you hear me? Okay, good morning. Love you. Let's get up. Let's get ready. Brush teeth, wash face. And I do that. And then I go back to my bathroom. This is after I've already peed, brushed my teeth, and washed my face. I'll do that. Then I'll do my skincare routine. Then I'll get dressed. And then I go down the hallway. And I pack my kids' lunch every single day. And I make them breakfast every single day. And I would say typically it's a hot breakfast 3 days out of the week, which means like egg, sausage, bacon, something like that's hot. Waffles or biscuits. And then some days it's a bar and milk if they want that. Some days it's cereal, but normally I'll get up and make them a hot breakfast. And the days I don't make a hot breakfast, we're running out of time or I just didn't prepare, what have you. Boiled eggs are a good example too. Then I'll just like say to them as I'm in the kitchen, like, what would you want for breakfast? Do you want this, this, or this? And I'll lay it out for them. And then I'll start packing their lunch. And so that makes me, and it's quiet, you guys. We have a lamp in the lounge, which is where we do our podcast recording at. And then in the kitchen, we have a machine. Alexa. She listens to everything. I tell her to turn on certain lights in the home and then we're just doing our thing. But I will tell you, some mornings are a little bit rowdy because these kids don't want to freaking listen to me. Okay. And they don't want to listen to their daddy. Girl, they are preteen. And it's kicking my butt. Okay. It is kicking my butt. And so, it does get escalated some mornings, but because we still have to parent. But then the next thing that really makes me happy and brings me joy is my personal coffee. So I'm going to tell you how I make my coffee. And I wonder really how I'm going to be when I am 40 and when I am, because, I'm like at 39, 38, you guys, and 39 have kicked my butt. When I say kicked my butt, mentally, physically kicked my butt. Had no idea it could do it like that. 40, I'm probably going to wake up and be like, holy heck, what happened to my body? But anyways, I make my coffee. So let me tell you how I make my coffee. Because this routine, you guys, it brings me so much joy. I love when I wake up in the morning because I know what I'm going to do. It's never a question of how it's going to go down. Oh, it's going to go down this way because this is what I have created for myself and it makes me very happy. Okay, so we have a Keurig and I make my coffee. I want a really fancy cappuccino espresso. I want a really fancy machine because I want to be able to make even fancier coffees, okay? But we have a Keurig and I use an organic coffee, so it goes in the thing. I do an 8 ounce and then I have a physical frother that sits beside it. That's pretty big. And I pour my cream in, my creamer in it. And I use Chobani, which is a caramel zero sugar. Sometimes I do sweet cream. It just depends on what they have available. And then I do that. And then I put sugar-free caramel syrup in it. And then it froths it. So my milk is frothed and it has a sweet taste without spiking my sugar. And I pour it over top of my coffee. But then before I do that, after my coffee brews, I put, what is the product I put in my coffee? It is called Everyday Dose. I put a tablespoon of Everyday Dose in it and I do the little the actual portable tiny little frother that you put in your coffee and spin it. I do that and mix it up. So that gives me an extra boost of caffeine and like some good healthy benefits to that to keep me focused through the day. And then I pour that frothed milk on top. And then that is like a treat in the morning. Yes, I reward myself, okay, for the great things that I just did for an hour. Okay, getting myself ready, because I'm not a morning person. I am not a morning person. Don't be waking me up. Don't be telling me I have to be somewhere early. The reason I get up this early is because I have a responsibility as a parent is to get my kids to school. If we didn't have that, I ain't getting up. I ain't doing nothing for 8 o'clock. Okay. Don't even ask. Now I might wake up, but I ain't doing nothing or getting out of the house. So having a routine that you look forward to. And do you see how I just told you about that routine? Like I know it to a detail. It's not like, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow morning. I guess I'll just get up and I'll just like leave. I don't know. Like, I'm just like, no, I want my stuff at my home. I want food in my fridge and I want freaking coffee and I want to have what I need for my animals and have what I need for my kids. And I want my laundry to be done. And I don't want to be confused in the morning. I don't do well with chaos. I am a crazy nut job. I want everything in its place and I want everything to be done correctly and all that stuff, right? And it makes my brain focus better. So having a routine, and I'll tell y'all, we're going to have a whole nother podcast on night routine, skin routine, hair routine, because I'm telling you, it is insane. If you are interested in any of that, you can go to my personal YouTube channel. But so that is like at 39, this is my routine. Oh, and let me tell you what else I add into that routine, because I didn't say this, but I have a computer bag that has my laptop, my notebooks, my calendar. I have a physical calendar that I'm really bad at doing anything with. It's really only for like content scheduling, but I don't know what happened to me. One day I went squirrel and I started writing everything in it. And I was like, that's not why I bought this. So I need to like start over. But it's a content calendar to keep up with like business stuff. But I make sure the night before that is all packed. And if orders came in that day before or days or whatever before, I have all of my product orders packed. Like everything's, sometimes in the morning I will package up an order if it did come in last minute, but cause I'm like, oh, I'm going to the post office. Let me just go ahead and add this to the list of doing a drop off. But I have my whole computer back. I have all of my cameras. I have all of my type of like technology stuff on my person. Like I have a bag full of all this stuff. And it's a big backpack. So I keep all of that. Then I have my purse. And then in that I have another smaller purse. So if I go in anywhere, I can kind of have both. I have my medicine always with me and I have a medicine bag. So if there's an emergency, you know how it is as a parent, like you would always have a diaper bag. Well, this one is a medicine bag for adults and children. Like it has anything and everything you can think about it. It's our home travel medicine bag and it's full of everything. So those are the things I keep with me. That goes every single day with me. I leave the home with it. Regardless of my work plans, I leave the home with it. And so that makes me really happy. I feel secure. And it's not like, oh, dang, if I had this with me, I could do this. No, I have it with me. I can do it right now. Like, let's just do it. So at 39, I'm just so self-aware. I know what I want. I don't question it. I'm not worried about what other people think about me. I leave my home. You guys, y'all would not catch me from, I would say 36 in prior to really, years before that, leaving my house with my hair not together, something on my face, and my outfit together. Like when I say outfit together, I'm not saying sweats and a sweatshirt. I'm talking dress, cute shoes, jewelry. I was done, because when you work in a field where you work with people, and you have to show up to like an office space and you have clients coming in and out. Oh no, you need to be presentable. I mean, granted, I would go and like, maybe I didn't have my makeup on, but like my skin was good. Like I was together. And doesn't matter if anybody would surprise me at work or I had to have a meeting, I felt very confident. And so not to say that I'm not confident now, I'm just like, if I want to have my sweatshirt and a toboggan on and a baseball hat and my Uggs and a sweatshirt, then hey, I'm going to show up that way and I don't care. This is also kind of like my philosophy behind this. If you have to flaunt your success by what you drive and what you wear and how you carry yourself by like accessories, then I am so sorry. Because if you do that, because it truly is just, I would do this if no one saw me today. This is just how it makes me feel, then do that. But if you're doing that in a way because you want to be accepted, then I'm really sorry, because that is not a good thing. You need to do that because it makes you happy. So I'm like, I can look like a hobo, but let me tell you something. I'm together mentally. You know what I mean? Like, I'm together. I'm successful. You know that clip? It's like, I'm success. How are you? I'm successful. How are you? Like, I don't have to showboat. I don't have to have designer things. I could go buy designer things. I don't need a bunch of designer things. I'm the simplest chick. Like, I'm a girl's girl to my girls. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to be kind to me, I'm going to be kind to you. But if you're going to be a jerk to me, I'm going to be a jerk to you. All right. I get that. But like, I'm just a regular girl's girl, and I'm just simple. But now I like things. Okay. When it comes to some of the things you can't even see, but it is like, when it comes to my routine, I have that. I like my home to have nice things. I like my skincare. I like my hair care. I like my nails. I want my pedicure, like things like that. But I'm like, I don't need a $2,000 bag. Okay. I don't need a $10,000 bag. I don't need a $200,000 car. You know what I mean? I don't need it. I don't really actually want it. Even if I could choose it. Like, I just think that, but I could get it if I wanted it. Do you know, it's that mindset. And I feel so good knowing that is just what it is for me. And that makes me really happy. So anyways, that's a little bit about my 30s, you guys. I don't know. I hope this just like gave you some clarity and was fun. This was good. I just wanted to do this with you guys. And, I will say this. I have to say this in this episode. I started trizepatide. If you did not know this, I started it 36 days ago. I think today's the 5th of December. And so, would be 36 days that I started trizepatide. And that is like Zepbound. It's to help with like weight loss. But when I say 38 and 39 kick my butt, I gained a lot of weight. And this year, 39, I started struggling. And like when I was 38, I was like, what's going on in my body? It's just not acting right. And so it's just really been hard for me. And so these hormones are kicking my butt. And I'm also a type 1 diabetic. That also kicks my butt every day, but I'm really managing it and getting it together. I talk more about that in short form content. But I believe when I turn 40, you guys, my 40th birthday is February 7th. Yes, queen. We're going to talk about what I'm going to do for my 40th too. We'll have to do that on another podcast. But I am like, I'm going to get this weight off and I'm going to be toned. It's so funny when you see like videos of women and they talk about like, I love my body more now than I did when I was like 19 or 20. Like, you know what I mean? That's honestly how I felt. I may have been tiny, but I was never cut up and fit. And I was never like, I don't even know what the inside of my body is even doing. I was more about like, is the outside of my body hitting? Yes. But I did not know like anything about the internal parts of my body. And now I'm more aware of like what I'm taking and what I'm eating and how I'm treating my body. And yes, the outside physical stuff does matter. Like I want to look good, but I also want to feel good. But I don't do it for people. I don't. I'm like, I don't care if you think I'm fat, tiny, ugly. I don't care. Let me tell you something. If I don't love me, then I'm unhappy. But if I love me, I am happy, no matter what you have to say about it. And so that's how I feel about it. So I started trizepatide, and it's just going to help me really get this extra weight off that the hormones are kicking my freaking butt, and just be more fit, just really be more intentional about my gym time. And so that's what I'm doing in my 39 years. So I'm excited about that. So anyways, yeah, there we go. That was in a nutshell. And I love it. So that's 39, you guys. Thank y'all so much for being here. I do have a few questions that came in. I will say this, if you've made it to the end of this podcast, I do have a few questions that were submitted on Instagram. I do ask like, hey, submit a question on Instagram. only a couple of y'all do submit questions, so I don't really have enough to do that episode yet, but I have saved those questions, so that will be coming out sooner than later. So just pay attention to my personal social media accounts, and that's where I talk about the podcast. I have not created the podcast on social media. I just am not going to do that. This is what it is. It has its own account for YouTube and for anywhere you stream your podcast. So please give us a rating though. Leave me a review on the podcast. Please leave that. And subscribe and hit follow to where you listen to this podcast. That really helps it too. And you can even leave a comment anonymously in the show notes or whatever, like where you listen. So just go to whatever app that you tune in from this, subscribe, follow, or rate. Like do what it's asking. That would be awesome because it'll help the growth of it. So thank you guys so much for being here to add me to the group chat. This has been so much fun. And if you are a girly turning 40 this coming up year 2, then we're doing it together. I am so excited for us. So I will see you in the next one.